So I've talked about recently my acting classes. They were force feeding the wokeism agenda down my throat. And let me just get this clear that I got nothing against that particular agenda itself. It's not my cup of tea, but if you want to roll with it and believe that, that's on you. As long as you stay in your lane and do not project onto me and force me to somehow accept all of that, that's a problem. So that's exactly what was going on in my acting classes, and I've still taken the back seat. I've taken a break from all of that jargon. I told my acting coach I am dropping out indefinitely, and I don't know when I'm going to be back. So you have to take a stand for yourself. Now, the people who I thought were my friends and quote unquote my work industry peers in the acting, modeling, commercial space as such, right? What's interesting is they add you on Instagram, because let's face it, right? We all try to put this facade up that, oh, it's just Instagram. But no, Instagram is a really good measure of how people act, how they behave, and also how they gaslight, as well as watch your every single move. And for those that are saying, oh, it's just Instagram, it's not a big deal, yeah, there's some truth to that. But when it matters the most, when it counts the most, we are sharing our best wins in life on Instagram. Most of us, actually, admittedly, right? Myself included. So these very people, what they'll do is they'll add you. Like I said, watch all your stories, watch every move, and feel some sort of a way because you're doing better. That's it, flat out. You're doing better. Maybe you are just that guy or girl. You are that chosen one. There's something very special about you, right? And this has been the story of my life as a musician, life behind the reels, right? This is how I named the channel. When I was in California, writing my songs and finding the beats, casting for my own music videos and lead girls, lead female characters, essentially, villains, actors, actresses, just for a 3-4 minute music video, short film, setup kind of a gig. Very early on, I started getting the evil eye, and my own people, meaning my own culture, Bollywood, culturally speaking, that I thought the masses were on my side, 80-90% were just dying for me to fail. And I think I got this from a very early age. Of course, seeing how Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan operated, right, on the court, one man show in that sense. Of course, it's a team sport, but when they took over, they'll let you know they took over. It was almost hard to miss their wrath, right? And so I've always been that one man show mentality. I mean, some of us have no choice but to be that guy, and I embraced it. I thrived in it. With the more hate I got, the more naysayers I got. I kept on knocking out project after project after project successfully until I crossed paths with Cash Money Records and South Asian artist Jay Sean. And I went all the way to the finals in a worldwide competition back in 2014, 2013, something like that. And I did a cover contest, singing contest. Actually did a music video on it, and the name of the song was Mars, like as in Mars, the planet. And my video ranked pretty high up there. I went through like 16, 17 rounds competing against the best talents in the globe that actually signed up for this competition. And I got on the global stage. So as an independent artist, no one backing me, but just a few people. Just a few people. And even then, their support was mixture. Like, you don't know where it was going to go, right? It's almost like they were waiting for you to blow up, like get signed, and then they were going to hop on your boat. But they were still happy to be there, that in case they were giving enough effort that if you fail, they did just the right amount to stay on your boat and then jump ship because it didn't work out. So they were going to go either way. That's the lesson learned. But out of all of that, I developed, if you look at my artist channel on YouTube, same name as my Instagram artist name, Jazz Dance, I have a lot of music videos and a lot of stuff I did early on in my career path when I left the boy band. And some of the stuff is cheesy. I get it, but for that time, it took a little, you know, bunch of kahunas to get stuff out there like that. And you were admired for it in some cases, and in some cases you were hated for it because you reminded people that you actually said what you're going to do and you did something about it and you showed up and you conquered and you moved on to the next project. And people are going to feel some sort of a way in that sense, is because you remind them of their own shortcomings, is what I found through this process. So fast forward now where I'm at in my path of this entertainment business, which also can be very political, especially in the geography that I'm in, Nevada, right? There's a lot more ad looks here at Bats. I've done like 4 projects already in the space of like 6 months, which is significant for me, is because I didn't get any of this in California. And so when I have actors and potential candidates within my acting circle, right, community, adding me on Instagram and vice versa, I am the first one showing them love, hitting likes on their stories and posts, commenting that I believe in you, right? Giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I don't even know them, and I still say I believe in you, bro. And I leave genuine comments and engage, right? But they don't do jack-ish in return. And trust me, I'm not even looking for that validation. You're probably asking, why am I making this point? I'm making this point is because just this recent shoot that I did at Resorts World, check that video out, by the way. It's a 15-hour day, condensed into a 21-minute video. After I did that video and took footage of Resorts World, which is totally legal, by the way, and it's not giving away what the project was about, nor am I saying who was there, and anything that gives away the details of the project. All I'm doing is I'm being a tourist, and I am showing how much I love Vegas. But somehow, not somehow, I actually know how. These people have been watching my stories and my whole lifestyle for the last few months. All of them still, we don't know each other like that, but we make a connection on Instagram. They've been watching everything. And the minute I drop an Instagram reel, right, that has to do with my experience at Resorts World and behind the scenes, not on set, big difference. And I have an NDA caption on my post, and talk about the fact that I cannot disclose what this is about, but here's what I appreciate life, what it's like living in Vegas, and here's the strip, right? And so what happens is my acting agency starts getting phone calls or text messages. He gave me a ring, and he said basically there's like 3-4 people texting him that O'Neill, meaning I, have all this on-set footage and pictures and videos up on my reel, and then you have to take it down. I was extremely baffled, really thrown away by it, and I think I know who those people are, because energy doesn't lie. And this is how you know you're chosen, is because you just do a better job all around in terms of showing up, personal branding, marketing yourself, putting yourself out there, and they feel some sort of a way by throwing you under the bus. And if I was to suspect, I'm suspicious. These are people in my acting class. I think they're aware that this guy is gonna stand his ground, and he stands firm on his beliefs. He's not with the woke train, and he's actually showing his card. Like he means what he says, and you damn straight I am, and I do. I'm Generation X, and during my time, we're just a different breed, man. I just wholeheartedly believe all the stuff that we're seeing right now is just, for me, it's nonsense. I don't believe in any of the modern day stuff, which is why our society is all screwed up right now when you look at the gender wars, right? But fast forwarding back to this, is that it really opened my eyes and confirmed what I was feeling all along, which is there's this weird energy ever since I stood my ground and I told my teacher that I'm not going to do any funny business kind of an acting. Just give me traditional roles or give me those scripts to practice, and we'll do it all day. Heck, I don't even care if you make me the villain, right? In those practice sessions. But she was so adamant on me doing roles that are not what I signed up for, if you know what I mean. The funny business roles. And it's almost like a personal battle. And her thing was, are you in, are you out? Are you in, are you out? I mean, in my opinion, it's like that's not how you handle the situation by giving someone the ultimatum to drop the class if you're not on board with that funny business agenda. So going back to this topic here, it just really, really showed me the true colors of people with the biggest smiles, and they'll bro you up front in your face and tell you all these warm and fuzzy things, but right behind you, they're stabbing that knife and turning it and twisting it and still pretend like they're your best friends, but actually they are not. Those are the most dangerous people, and you should stay away from them. Watch. I totally forgot to keep track of my steps. But yeah, those are the exact types of people you should stay away from. And what they tried to do essentially is get me canceled with my talent agency, get me a strike. There's no such thing as strike, but he just had a word with me, assuming the worst case. And then he apologized because I gave him my Instagram. You take a look for yourself. In all fairness, you tell me where I missed the ball, where I dropped the ball, where I missed the mark. I knew I was on the right. This was going to come down to 1 on 50, basically. 50 against, so it was basically straight on ganging up on me, right? Thankfully, he had some sense, right? He came back and said, I'm so sorry to jump to conclusions. You are good. You're on the clear. There's nothing in your video that suggests anything about the commercial and the opportunity. I was scratching my head, and I fired back. I was like, all good. This is not the first time that I've actually been subjected to such kind of jealousy, hate, and, the limelight in that sense, right? So you may tend to shine brighter than some of these people. And most of these people are mature, meaning that some of these folks are in their 30s, solid people, right? Here in Vegas, Nevada. But the way they move around you can just smell the energy. I mean, I'm 49, right? So I've seen life a little bit. I understand personalities. I also understand the fake nature of people, right? And you have to be able to not just smell it, but connect the dots. If it smells fishy, it's a fish. That's it. If it smells fishy, it's a fish. So there's a lot of fishy people in my radius, and then I put a story out, writing a note that I know who you are, and I'm keeping my distance, and I'm also putting out there that I'm not ducking from any one of you. That if you felt some sort of a way, you should have just DM'd me or messaged me to have a discussion, not go behind my back and pretend like you don't see any of my stories. I have some really good athletic capabilities, and I've posted some of this in my Instagram. And these date back to my current times as well as my previous shoots, where I'm actually showcasing my physical abilities as a grown man, mature man. I think what's throwing a lot of people off is just extreme jealousy, is because how the hell is this guy able to do all these things and he's 49 years old? If people are feeling some sort of a way, and this is how you know you are the chosen one, is if you're doing something right and it's making people feel some sort of a way, and you are not harming them, and you are not deliberately in their face, they still find a way to be in your face and in your grill, in your life, by watching your stories and watching every single move that you are executing. And that's how you know you're doing something right, because it's triggering something within them. Think about that for a second. Are you in this situation? You find yourself, you're like a pioneer, trendsetter, jet setter of any kind, right? You're your own guy, man. You're just your own person. And not everyone has this quality, by the way. Everyone thinks they do. Everyone thinks they do. And I'm sorry, not everyone is that way. You may feel like it, but not everyone is the chosen one. I don't get in line. I don't follow the masses just because one person said so. I'm gonna think for myself, and I think that's what's missing in our society today. My acting coach, we have a bunch of we have a bunch of able-bodied. I covered this in the other video. You're gonna pack a room in class filled with a bunch of able-bodied men, very capable, self-improvement guys, and then kind of pawn one against each other psychologically by saying, well, he is doing this, he's wearing a dress, and he doesn't have a problem. Then why do you? Well, he's bigger than you, and he's like 6'4", and he's just a big dude. He plays football, and he's willing to wear a dress. Why aren't you? Nah, just because person ABC is doing all of this nonsense doesn't mean I'm going to do it, and I don't agree with it. It could become a very hostile environment, and I think I have a good read. I have a very good read on all of these things, on positioning people and making them, go against each other, which is not the issue here. So the bigger problem is that if you believe in something bigger, you believe in your purpose, and you believe in your intuition, and you stand up for it, people are going to feel some sort of way because you're not getting in line. This is not about getting in line or going offline and misbehaving. This is about morals and principles, in my opinion. So all of that above, right? And I've even found this like within family, extended family. Like first your direct line of family, then your extended circle, your cousins and whatnot. And that's primarily the reason why I moved away from California, and I'm here in Nevada, charting my own path and tracks and following my own voice, dream, and vision. And sometimes you have to cut everyone off. Like I mean everyone, because you include your parents, it could mean your brothers, your sisters, except your dog. Your dog is the only exception you don't cut off, or your cat if you have a cat, or whatever pet you have, right? And that's why you must walk this path alone. It just makes you so much stronger when you realize you don't need anyone's validation. And then when things hit the fan, right? As long as you have your health, there's a lot you can endure alone. You are quite capable to become a one-man army per se. Very capable. And when you realize you don't have anyone to lean on or have a shoulder to cry on, which you don't really need, because they're not going to fix the problem for you. You may feel better, but if you remove the feelings out of this whole equation, it just makes you a very powerful person, because you got to figure your own math out. You got to write your own story, regardless of who's with you and who's not. And most of the time, you have to get accustomed to no one being there for you. That's why that's why I believe that the chosen ones walk alone. Walking alone here. No one's going to walk these steps for me. But I've always felt like I've had a chip on my shoulder. The comeback story, the fourth quarter comeback, Kobe Bryant with the fourth quarter rally, right? The game winners. I just feel like I have always been that guy with a chip on my shoulder. Something to prove every single time. And I've just become accustomed to operating with the little kid in me. I'm not a kid anymore, but there's a kid in me that says, you will always have something to prove. Not to anyone else, but to yourself. How you show up for yourself, how true you are, how true you are to your values, your moral compass. Do you allow people to push you around, or you push back by staying in your frame? So I'm sharing all of this with you is because you can't trust when you're on your path to self-improvement and betterment, right? Anything that empowers you, all of a sudden standing in your frame becomes toxic masculinity. And there's no such thing as that. So I am talking to myself, but I'm putting this information out there so for anyone that's in my shoes, in retrospect, that you can relate to at least some sort of a story in your life where you have to kind of shake things up by just being who you are, and people start feeling some sort of way. Because I am just one person making all of this entire city that's involved in this space feel a certain way just by being me. And sometimes your energy can be so deafening to how they pretend like they're blind and they see nothing. but they can't help it but see everything. And that's what's happening in my case. They pretend they don't see your martial arts. They pretend they don't see how fit you are. They pretend they don't see everything you're doing to stay this best version of yourself. They hate it. Heck, if I'm standing next to the Sphere here downtown in the Strip, they may report me and say that's illegal. That's where it's at now. That's where it's at. I'm done with the acting class. I'm not going back unless like there's an extreme circumstantial changes where they finally head on straight and say, okay, we do see some validity as to what you're saying, but they won't. They won't. And I don't know how long and where this acting path is going to lead me, but I'm involved in it right now, so I can deal with what's in front of me. Okay? There's nothing wrong with walking alone in this path. You'd rather walk alone than be a pretender and be part of the masses. I'd rather be a one-man show. Walk my path alone and pave it. That's all I'm doing. Hopefully this gives you some courage, inspiration, and confidence to either connect with me or take something from here and apply it to your life. Because ain't nobody got to do it for you, man. Even these steps that I'm walking. No one's going to be here to walk it with me. A lot of this self-improvement and empowerment and your mind opening up, your spirit aligning with your higher self. It's me against me every single day. And this is how I am self-proclaimed the chosen one, paving the way here for myself, but maybe also inspiring some of you out there. Okay? Until the next video, Mamba out.